Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. On today's video we are going to be creating this beautiful chunky glitter look, and to start off we are doing the eyebrows, and I got this random pencil from Dubois that I really love. It gives me a very natural finish on my brows, as you can see. Yeah, then just taking a spoolie brush, brush them up. I normally use soap on my spoolie brush to make the eyebrow hairs lay on my skin well. Then taking up a light concealer. This is very light, as you can see. This is a trick, using a very light concealer at the arc, and then using the normal concealer you'd use on your brows on the beginning and on the end of the eyebrow. Yeah, it gives you a very defined look, very defined finish, as you can see. Like, it makes it so bold, but when we blend it, it's gonna look amazing. The eyebrows are gonna be so structured. Yeah, so you just use a light shade at the arc, and then use like one shade lighter at the front and at the end of the brows. For the upper part of my brows, I like using my foundation because it just gives me an easier time when I'm blending the rest of the face with foundation, instead of using a concealer for the top part. As you can see, our eyebrows are popping, you guys. And then just taking a spoolie brush, brush them up, brush them until you have this beautiful natural finish on your brows. No harsh concealer at the top part, that's why we used foundation for the top part. Yeah, then I'm using a Lega concealer in the shade Fawn as my base for the eyeshadow. So before doing eyeshadow, make sure you have a base. Like, use concealer on your eyelids and blend it. You can blend with your finger, you can blend with a brush, a small fluffy brush, or you can blend with a beauty blender like I did. Onto eyeshadow, I started with this sort of burgundy shade, and I'm placing that above my crease using a small pencil brush, and I'm just creating the shape I want my eyeshadow to have. Like, you can have a shape that you want. If you want wing sort of look, if you want a natural look, like, you can first create the shape before blending, and that's what I'm doing here using this brush. I wanted to go for like a wing, as you can see. Yeah, and just making sure that it is well, well packed, that I've packed the eyeshadow well. And then taking a lighter sort of brown shade, I'm blending the harsh lines, and then taking my concealer, the same one that I used to conceal my eyelids before. This is Fawn, a legal Fawn. I'm cutting my crease, and I normally use a concealer brush to cut my crease, a brush that is firm and straight, curved on the edges. Like, a concealer brush is amazing for cutting the crease. Make sure it's straight, so you can like use concealer, make sure that the brush is straight and firm, and then just use that to cut your crease. Make sure that the edges are well cut. Yeah, I did the same on the other eye, as you can see. And then I went to my palette, took a golden shade to just pack into my lid space where I cut the crease, and this is gonna act as our base for the glitter. I didn't want to go with glitter directly on concealer when I cut the crease, so I used this golden shade as the base for the glitter, so that hata uko katikati ya glitter you can see there is eyeshadow. So to hold the glitter, since I don't have any glitter primer, I normally use duo lash glue. The mistake that I did here, I used a lot of glue, though it worked. But if you want to try this look, if you want to play with glitters, don't use as much glue as I've used on this video. Yeah, so I just placed the glue on top of the eyeshadow, and then took my glitters. These chunky glitters are amazing, but they are not the easiest to work with. But as long as you have, maybe if you have a glitter primer, it can be better. But I just use my duo lash glue and just pack them up with this small brush. And then I wanted to give my eye more detail, so I went in with a white eyeliner, and I just applied that on the crease, yeah, to just give me some definition. So for eyeliner, if you don't have white eyeliner, liquid eyeliner like this, you can even use a white concealer and a small brush, and it can give you the same result. So I also used the same white eyeliner on my waterline. I used it to line my eyes and give me that sort of cat eye thing. Yeah, then did mascara and popped in my lashes, and my eyes are popping, you guys. So onto the face, I started by using the Maybelline Pore Eraser Primer. This is an amazing primer. It just smoothens the face, fills in the pores, and even if you have oily skin, it's still good. It's a silicone based primer, which is so good. Yeah, and then I went in with my foundation. The foundation I'm using is called Kavirondo. It's a Kenyan brand based in the US. I don't know why they chose to name their foundation Kavirondo, but I kid you not, guys, it is an amazing foundation. Yes, so I'm just blending that in with my beauty blender. And you guys, if you don't use primer, you're giving yourself such a hard time with foundation, because a good primer makes your foundation blend in so easily. A good primer is what is gonna give you a good base so that the foundation can blend really nicely, and also it extends the wear of the foundation. So if is primer really necessary? Yes, it is, honey. Primer is very necessary. It's like, I don't know, I'd rather you don't buy a foundation, buy a primer and use powder if you're trying to save some coins. But primer is very necessary in terms of even protecting your skin from the effects of makeup. Yeah, so I just blend until I have a flawless finish. Make sure there is no excess foundation. Yeah, and then to contour my face, I went in with a legal concealer. This is shade Dark Cocoa to kind of give me definition. When you're using concealer to contour your nose, always use very minimal amount. As you can see, I'm doing, like, don't use a lot of concealer on your nose or whatever product you're using to contour. And then I went in with the same beauty blender that I used to apply foundation to blend the contour. This just gives me an easier time because the beauty blender has foundation, so as I blend, the foundation in the beauty blender is kind of helping blend the dark concealer that I'm contouring with. I don't know if that makes sense. Yes, and this step is optional, by the way. Instead of doing the cream contour contouring with concealer, you can directly contour with powder and you will get basically the same results. But I was feeling a bit extra, so I also did the cream contour, used my Illegal concealer. Illegal concealer is amazing, by the way, you guys. Like, I've tried more expensive concealers, but none of them has ever matched up with my Illegal. So I'm using the same Illegal in the shade Fawn to highlight my face. So you just basically highlight the under eyes, the bridge of the nose, the chin, the forehead. So the areas that I'm highlighting are the areas that, you know, are gonna, like, I want to be brightened up, and when they are brightened up, my face looks brighter on those areas, which is basically the same thing I've said, but it's gonna give the effect that my face is slimmer than, because I don't have a slim face. So we have to force issues. We have to make it slim by force. Okay? Yeah, so I recommend using a dry sponge like what I'm using here to blend concealer. And then I alternate between the dry sponge and the beauty blender that I use to blend foundation. Yeah, because it has the pigment from the other product, it's gonna help blend it completely. But before I use it, I first use a dry one. So as you can see, I've switched it up to the beauty blender I originally used, because this one has blended the concealer, the contour. It has the pigments from all the products that I've used, so it makes it easier. To set the contour, anytime you use a creamy product, you want to set it with a powder. So remember, I used a cream contour, I used concealer to contour, so I have to set that concealer with a dark powder. That's what I'm doing here. For the nose, always use a very small, precise brush. You don't want to use a powder brush to contour your nose, it's gonna mess you up. This is a very amazing powder that is very affordable. It's called J-Cut banana powder. It goes for like 850 shillings, but it's amazing. It's what I use to set my face. Yeah, so remember, again, you want to set any cream product with a powder. So the lighter concealer I had used to highlight my face, I'm setting it with this setting powder, this white sort of powder. So I normally place it in and then just blend it with a sponge or a beauty blender. Sometimes I just, instead of leaving it on the face, instead of baking, sometimes I just apply directly the sponge as I set my face, that for this look I wanted it to be more matte. That's why I'm baking, and I normally apply the setting powder below the contour to make the contour more structured. Like applying that powder hapo chini will just give my contour more definition. It will make it more visible, which makes my face slimmer. Then I'm now applying blush, and I just use a sort of peach eyeshadow color from the eyeshadow that I had used. And blush is everything, you guys. Blush brings life to the face. Then using my Illegal powder in the shade Warm Caramel, I'm just using it to dust off the setting powder, as well as setting the rest of the face with that powder. Illegal powder is also very affordable. I think it's 850 as well, and it's amazing. It gives amazing results. As you can see, it's just helping me blend everything in my face. So even if you use a lot of blush, even if you use a lot of highlighter, you can always go back with your finishing powder, apply on top. It kind of neutralizes everything and blends off any excess product that you have. Yeah, that's about it, you guys. My face is popping. I love the matte finish, and this is because of those powders. And then setting my face, I used Revolution setting spray. Then going on to my Divas eyeshadow palette. This is one of the best palettes I've worked with, especially when it comes to gold tones. As you can see, I like using this gold from that palette as my highlighter because it gives me a sort of dewy effect. It's like I've used a liquid highlighter. So yeah, this Divas palette is amazing. Sorry for that. Yeah, that's what I'm using, and I like using a small fluffy brush for my highlighter to just help me apply it on the specific areas, because when I use a big brush, it will take the product, the highlighter, on a big place, and I just want it on the top parts of my cheeks. And I always go back with a powder brush to kind of blend the highlighter so that it looks more natural. You don't want to have a line of highlighter, you want to have sort of a shimmer at the top of the cheeks, but blended. Yeah, and then I also apply it with the same small brush on my forehead, on my nose. Yeah, this gives me such a dewy effect that I love. You know, can you see that? Then using my gloss, this is Divas Cosmetics gloss. I wanted to get sort of nude lips because my eyes are already shouting. So, and I'm a gloss girl. Glosses for me are everything. I love glosses. I had lined my lips with a brown lip liner. Yeah, and just then topped that with this gloss. It's called Nude. It's the shade Nude by Divas Cosmetics. And this is our finished look, you guys. Don't you love it? Let me know in the comment section below where you'd wear this look to, if you would try this, and where you'd wear it to. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly consider subscribing, because more makeup tips, more makeup videos are coming your way. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys on the next one. Kindly share this video with a friend, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you on my next video. If you're not following me on Instagram, check me out, Mwangi, link down below. Bye.